in the Australian Drivers' Championship for Formula 3 cars in 2010. Richard Crowell and Ian Dyke with you. Tim Macro on pole looking good. Mitch Evans, Ben Barker, pressure on the title leader.
As you say, 20 races and a whole championship. So we've got a couple of drivers here in the attack position. We've got one driver in the defence position. One race to go.
So Macro will go from pole in this one. Mitch Evans from the outside of the front row. We need to watch for Chris Gilmore. He's been Gun Start Gilmore, his own nickname. He's been that this weekend. So fast. He's going from the second row of the grid. The red car, you can just see it, side of shot. So it all comes down to this, the final race in the 2010 season. Everyone away cleanly. We've got cameras on board with Tim Macro, the 04 Dallara. It's great to have him back. What a start from Gilmore. He's nailed it. He's up into second place, but he's got Evans, Tweedy and Barker right alongside him now. 3 wide down towards turn 1. And everyone's clear. And crucially, Ian, the title contenders have got through. Evans to second, Barker to third, Tweedy fourth.
Unlike race 2, all the cars come cleanly through turn 1, and our 3 title contenders chase Macro onto the back straight.
Well, I don't think they'll be too worried about Tim Macro. He's not in the championship calculations. He's just after his own personal glory. Not that he hasn't got enough of that. Dramas for John Boothman. His car has not got away. He started this one from pit lane. So after the problems in race 2, that's a bit of a moment. Side by side battling now. Josh Burden pulls a move on young Ben Jerzakowski from Queensland, and just in behind them, the second of the Artec cars from Bryce Moore.
It was a fast place to go too wide, and he's very late, but he's managed to find a gap down into the very tight Dandenong Road left-hander.
Nice little move there from the young West Australian driver, making his first race start in 2 years, or in a year, I should say. His last one was here in the final round of the 2009 F3 Championship. So, lap 1 across the line. Macro leads, but forget about him. The battle is second, third and fourth place. Evans, Barker, Tweedy. If they finish the way they are, Ben Barker wins the championship by 2 points.
Double points on offer in this race, so every position makes a massive difference.
Now, if they swap around a little bit, things will get a bit different, so we'll keep you posted with the math and how this battle works out. But for Barker, all he needs to do is sit in behind his teammate Mitch Evans and finish within sight of that number 4 Bank Link Team BRM Dallara. If he does that, the championship will go to the UK for the 3rd time in 3 years. But he's got a very good run. He's in the tow towards the top of the hill at the back of Sandown Raceway. Not quite close enough that time round. But in these early laps, it looks like car number 5 really is alive.
Absolutely, sitting right in behind Evans there, really putting the pressure on. So, as you said, he's just got to bring it home one position behind Evans. But at this stage, his method of defence is almost an attack. He's really up in behind Evans' car there and across the top of that crest, as we saw at the end of the back straight. It's not an easy place to stay that close because the drivers are really relying on that aero grip across the top.
The X factor in this just could be Tom Tweedy. Now, he's 13 points coming into this race off the lead of the championship, so he's really going to need these two to take themselves out or have massive dramas if he's going to have a hope of winning the Australian Drivers' Championship. But that's not to say he couldn't change the factor. He couldn't change the game. He could get up there, mix it with them, and take points off either Mitch Evans or Ben Barker, or even both if he's good enough.
Both these BRM cars at the moment look very stable on the road. Macro's disappeared into the distance at the moment, established himself what looks like the best part of 100 metres worth of road, and he appears to have been doing that all weekend. Very comfortable hopping back in the car after a reasonable break. Look
at Mitch Evans just driving that car right down the middle of the road up to the top of the hill, positioning car number 4 right where he needs to defend, and certainly no pace aboard the number 4 car in this early couple of laps while tyre pressures normalise and things come up to temperature. It certainly looks like car number 5 is faster, but as they say in the classics, catching is one thing and getting past, especially at Sandown, is another.
We've seen this at other events throughout the year. The 2 cars from the same camp are set up slightly differently. I think at Eastern Creek, Barker really had an advantage early on, but struggled to hold him towards the end of the race. So there's every chance these two could be in exactly the same position. Mitch is playing a defensive role for a couple of laps here, with a hope to peak towards the end of the race.
Gee, there'll be some pressure down at that Team BRM camp. They know how to win championships. They've won 5 of them in Australian Formula 3, but they've never finished 1-2 before, and they've never had 2 of their own drivers fighting it out for Australia's premier open wheel award. So there's going to be some stress down there. In fact, Mark Rundle, the team manager, being nicknamed Christian Horner this weekend as a bit of a comparison to his Red Bull Racing counterpart. He doesn't want to let it slip away like they're doing at the moment. Really on at the moment. Barker has got so much pace in car number 5.
This is brilliant racing from our number 1 and 2 driver in the championship at the moment. These guys are both fighting it out. Who knows who's feeling the pressure more, because at the moment Evans is in a position where he knows that if Barker stays right there, the championship is going to go away from him. So it's an unusual spot to be in. I don't know if he's trying to drive it away or trying to create a bit of controversy.
Well, knowing Mitch Evans, he will be trying to drive that car as hard as it can possibly be driven. I don't think there's any other way for the 16-year-old Kiwi. Gee's been a revelation, hasn't he? He's such a talent, natural talent, and he's got so much ahead of him because he's at such a young age in his career.
And the young age, like he's in pressure right now with a car not only, as you say, fighting for the race, but fighting for the championship, and Barker's just all over him at the moment, and Evans is just seems to be calm and collected and doing the job he needs to do.
And just slowly, they're slipping back towards Tom Tweedy. As these two dice, they're falling back towards the Team Tom Supporters Club number 19 car. So they're just holding themselves up slightly. Macro's disappeared up the road in front, but they need to be careful they don't let Tom Tweedy buy into this game too early in this race.
Couldn't say Evans is driving a defensive line because he's still using the full width of the road, but this type of jousting and chasing for position is going to force Evans. Now that's a defensive line, so that's going to really open it up for Tweedy, and as we can see, he's got a brilliant run onto the straight now and he's closing on Barker.
And plenty of straight line speed from the slippery 04 car. He's right in the toe of Ben Barker. The British driver will go defensive down this long start finish straight, but Tweedy's already by. Tweedy goes to 3rd place, and this is absolutely critical for the championship. Can Barker fight back?
That is a massive game changer. Barker is now in a really, really uncomfortable position. He's just given away the spot that secures the championship, so he is going to be furious, you can imagine, in his next couple of laps as he tries to get that spot back.
Well, that, you're right, it does change the game, because if they finished line astern, the two Team BRM cars, Barker would win it because he's got just a few points up his sleeve. This is now completely different. If they finish this way, they'll be tied on points, Ian. Tied on 219 points at the end of the race, but if it goes to countback, Mitch Evans wins the championship. He's won more races this year.
Evans has one job now: head down, look down the road, see if he can see as far as Macro and put in his best effort. And we can see Barker working hard as well, getting the car up on that curb on the outside of the exit to that left-hander, and it's not a good place for a Formula 3 car to be. They just don't have the clearance to use that much curve.
And what this means is it's now Ben Barker versus 11 other drivers, because if Ben Barker sets the fastest lap of the race and gets the bonus point that goes with it, he wins the championship. If any other driver gets it, it's game over and the title will go to Mitch Evans. Stay with us. This will go down to the wire. Welcome back to the most intense pressure cooker motor race you're ever likely to see. The Formula 3 Australian Drivers' Championship is up for grabs here at the Shannons Nationals at Sandown Raceway in sunny Victoria. It's a beautiful day, but the pressure has gone to 11. Mitch Evans in 2nd place in this race is leading Tom Tweedy, and Ben Barker back in 4th place. If they finish the way they run, taking out of the equation the fastest lap of the race, Mitch Evans will win the championship on countback. But that one bonus point for the quickest lap of the race is up for grabs. If Ben Barker can get it, the title may yet be his. Tim Macro, meanwhile, leads the way. It's Richard Craill and Ian Dyke with you from Sandown. An amazing race so far. Gee, that move from Tom Tweedy was critical, wasn't it?
It was opportunistic. He did a beautiful job to just focus on the two guys in front of him. They were naturally worried about each other, trying to defend and attack. It opened up a door and he capitalised on it beautifully. We know that the 04 cars are fast in a straight line, and he got a beautiful run off that final corner. And we saw he was well and truly clear before turn 1.
We're right on board with Tim Macro, the race leader, who's had it a bit of his own way in this one, and it's been great to have the former champion back in the grid. And a bit rusty, admittedly, was Tim Macro. He said first real Formula 3 race for 12 months since he lost the 2009 championship at this very racetrack. But from, I think, basically the first lap of practice, he was there hanging the tail out of car 25, and we all knew that Tim Macro of old was back. And he's really taught these newbies a bit of a lesson this weekend. He's shown them how to do it. And it's been a great fight watching Macro go head-to-head with the class of 2010, who, as we've seen the whole season long, have been very, very quick. New lap records set across the country this year, so this is not a field without talent, but gee, Macro's taken it up a notch, hasn't he?
Doing a brilliant job, and as we can see, a clear gap from these three title contenders, and the small amount of onboard footage we got to see there, he was just doing the job, you know, cleanly, precisely, and all weekend he's been doing exactly the same, so it didn't take long to get rid of that rust.
You might be in the same position maybe if we stick you back in a car next year.
I'd like to be, but as you say, it'd take a day or two, I think. Now look at this Barker putting a bit of heat again on Tweedy, because we've said that potentially his car was peaking early. It was certainly fast in those opening laps. I thought for a moment there that Tweedy might be driving away, but Barker's not giving up. He's got to really chase these two cars down in these closing laps.
What Barker needs to do now is qualifying. He needs to do qualifying laps and qualifying times. He needs to get the fastest lap of the race and the one bonus point that goes with it. At the moment, Mitch Evans holds that fastest lap, so if they finish the way they are, he'll win the championship. But these three are lapping literally within hundredths of a second of each other in terms of ultimate lap time. Final lap, Barker nails the quickest lap of the race by just a tenth of a second, and that could change the championship right there.
It's easy for us to do the maths from outside the car, but I can imagine these three young guys have got a massive amount of pressure on their shoulders. They are just doing everything they can to look down the road, drive as fast as they can, and take every opportunity as it appears.
So Mitch Evans needs to absolutely nail this last lap if he wants to win the championship. If he takes that point away from Ben Barker, title goes to Evans. If any other driver gets it, Barker will lose the championship, but Barker really needs that one bonus point.
He's running out of opportunities for an overtaking manoeuvre, so he's going to have to bank on that fastest lap at the moment. It looked like he got a brilliant run onto the back straight, but that 04 is so quick in a straight line.
It's amazing, isn't it, that this title should come down to literally hundredths of a second and one bonus point at the end of 21 races across 8 months, and a remarkable season of racing. For Tim Macro, the comeback will be completed by a very emphatic race victory. Macro back on top, but the focus is on the championship. Can Mitch Evans do it? Will he set the fastest lap of the race? He won't. Barker's the champion. Ben Barker wins the championship. Mitch Evans' last lap was 0.05 of a second slower than Barker's.
Now BRM don't know who to congratulate here. They're turning around saying this is a brilliant race, and they have done a brilliant job all year to get two cars in first and second in the championship.
A remarkable race. It's won by Tim Macro, Mitch Evans second, and Tom Tweedy third. Caps off a great year, but Ben Barker is the brand new Formula 3 Australian Drivers' Champion.
Yeah.
Ben Barker, congratulations. What a weekend. I bet you didn't expect to be here after you were sitting up the end up there with the car, having gone straight over the top of you earlier in the day.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, that second race scared me up a little bit, and you know, you could say luck came my way, but all I had to do was finish in the top 4 that last race, and right at the end there I needed to make sure I had that fastest lap as well, which was quite tense. So I was just praying every lap, hoping that Mitch and Tweedy didn't get fastest lap off me, so and managed to get it by like half a tenth, I think, and that's what won me the championship. So close all year, and a big credit to Mitch Evans and Tom Tweedy up at the front, you know, pushing each other really well. So it was a great result. To get a championship under my belt in my second year of car racing is, you know, I wouldn't have dreamt of it. So yeah, fantastic. We're having a few beers tonight.
Go and enjoy it, mate. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Came third in the championship outright, national class winner, so, you know, we're on top of the world at the moment. We're really happy with what's happened, so it's been a great year, and thanks to Formula 3.
Remarkable year, Tom Tweedy, and a great job by you to finish third. There's the points, 1 point in it. Barker to Evans in the end. A remarkable season, and what a dramatic conclusion at Sandown Raceway. Celebrations all round. Macro the round winner, Evans and Tweedy on the podium, but Ben Barker, third time in a row, the Australia's Drivers' Championship goes to the